Good morning, everybody. Today, we're not talking about drift cars or race cars. Today, we're talking about pickup trucks. I've been a Dodge Ram owner for more than 10 years now. This is my third Ram, and I've had a 2500, then I went to 3500, and now I'm back to 2500, because you guys saw the Daughter, we don't need a big 3500 to tow a trailer anymore. So we went back to a 2500. Every time I do a research and I want to see which truck should I buy, that's diesel, that's within this price range, nice, it's very reliable, and I always come back to the Ram. These trucks are amazing. They're like, it's really hard to buy anything in this price range in these years with so much performance and capability. These trucks are pretty much perfect, and when I say pretty much, it's because there's one thing that definitely holds these trucks back from being the best trucks out there. And today we're gonna address this one thing. This is our 2018 Ram 2500 Laramie. This is definitely the nicest Ram we've ever had. I had a Tradesman and then I had a SLT Longhorn. This is by far the best one. It's in really good shape. The miles are a little high, but everything else is amazing on this truck. So when I'm talking about one thing that holds this truck back, if you know anything about these trucks, you know what I'm talking about. It's the infamous 68 RFE. And the transmission itself isn't necessarily terrible. The valve body, the thing that controls the shifts, is just lacking. And when I had my first 2500, like there weren't really any solutions to that. So for that reason, when we needed a bigger truck that can tow more and had a reliable transmission, we went to the 8-cent. And that was amazing. 5 years, not a single problem. Towed a big trailer, towed all the way to like 30,000 pounds, no problem. So when we went back to 2800, I was debating, and I was like, oh, maybe we should do a Ford because they have really good transmissions, but then the Ford has fuel problems, and this one doesn't have the fuel problem. So when we were buying the truck, I knew that in the back of my head, I was like, all right, we have to get ready and do something about that. Luckily, before I bought the truck, I did some research, and since the moment I owned my previous 2500, a few companies came out with a solution that fixes the valve body, and one of the company kind of knocked it out of the park and created a solution that works amazing, doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and fixes the valve body problem and makes this truck the best truck you can own. So the company is Revmax, and when I was doing my research, I called a few companies, and Revmax was by far the friendliest, the most helpful staff that helped me make my decision. Revmax is industry leader when it comes to making heavy duty and high performance valve bodies. What makes Revmax valve bodies stand out from all other valve bodies is the fact that everything on this valve body has been machined by a CNC machine. When you do it by hand, the tolerances are just not there, and that causes a lot of issues down the road. Aside from that, there's a very, very long list of upgrades that I'm not gonna go here, but I encourage you to go on our website and read for yourself. Everything here is upgraded. Too bad it's assembled already, so I can show you the very cool machine work that's been done on the inside of here. This unit came assembled, and which makes our job of installing it much easier. Last but not least, the valve body is made here in America, which is extremely important for quality and all many other reasons. All right, we have all the parts. We have the valve body, we have the solenoid pack, we have filters, gaskets, and whatnot, and we're about to start the work. This by no means is a step-by-step process. If you are looking for something like that, there's so many good videos out there on the internet, much better than this one. We're just showing you what we put on our truck to make it reliable. All right, so we have the old valve body out, and what I wanted to show you is, take a look how much thinner this one is compared to the Revmax. And on top of being thicker, it's also a significantly stronger material, because that's a billet aluminum piece, and this is just cast. And yeah, these, I mean, honestly speaking, every Ram should have just come up with this one from the factory. All right, so we have everything torqued. we marked the bolts with different colors so we know which ones was us and which one was Revmax. I have to go back in. Alright, so it's been a few weeks. We assembled the truck, put the proper fluid, checked the levels, all the errors were gone. So I want to talk more about how the truck drove and drives now. And the biggest difference I can talk about is the shifting. And if you ever driven any of these trucks, you know how smooshy the shifts are. You can see the RPM go up, and then as it's shifting, it's gonna go up and then go down. And even my brand new 2500 in 2015 when I bought it did that. They always, all of them do that, and I'm not sure why Ram decided to do that. Maybe because to make it smoother, so it feels more like a car, you know. I definitely enjoyed my 3500 with an ASIN because it did not do that. The shifts were like, the RPMs would go up, and then on the shift it'll just go down and kind of keep driving, you know. They were definitely a little harsher because of that, but it didn't have this like slipping clutch feel that the 68 RFE has. So the moment we installed it and we did everything properly, we did a relearn, we did a new fluid, obviously, and we drove it around. Instantly the shifts were significantly crisper. They were like up, the RPMs goes up, click and then down, click and then down. So that was pretty good. And the reason I didn't really want to post anything before that, because I wanted to drive it more. And another thing is, about a week into driving it, we got a transmission tune because we knew we were going to get a transmission tune. So there's a little screw on the valve body that you're supposed to remove if you're going to run a tune. So, and I did want to drive it without the tune, even though they're not really recommending it. And I did actually get a check engine light. I get a trouble code from the transmission that my line pressure wasn't adequate, and Revmax actually says that that's exactly what's going to happen if you remove the screw and you don't have a tune, because the valve body is giving it more pressure and the tune isn't expecting more pressure. So, but that's fine. I didn't really drive it that much. I just really drove it around to get groceries back and forth a few times, just to see how it feels without a tune. After that, we installed the tune, and the tune changed the transmission drastically. If I told you it had an ASIN gearbox, you would probably believe me, because it shifts so much like an ASIN transmission. The shift points are higher, they're much crisper, there's none of that mushiness, and I absolutely love it. Like we did 2 trips with the trailer, and I know this is more about the valve body, but I also want to talk about the tune, so it's kind of hard to separate them. I think that the crisp shifts are coming from the valve body more than they're coming from the tune. I could be wrong, I don't know, but that's how it felt, because the crispiness was there even without a tune. Like the crisp shifts were there before I put the tune. When I put the tune in, the shift points shifted up. So instead of shifting when you drive slowly, not in the tall haul mode, it would shift at around probably like, I don't know, 16 to maybe 1600 RPM. If you're not lowering it and then you would just go down. With the tune, it would shift much higher, like 200-300 RPM. I'm actually not a big fan of the shifting patterns in the non-tall haul mode, and I'm actually talking to the tuner, and we might change that closer to what the stock tune is. But in the tall haul mode, when you're towing a trailer, the raised shift points are just amazing. But maybe I'll make a different video about that. Now I want to take the truck and go film and show you guys how the shifting is. So on the shifting, here you have you can see the gears 1 and 6. I turned this on here, and then now you'll see what I was talking about, how crisp each shift is. So less talking, more flooring. Here we go. Boom, 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 and next gear. Okay, I have to slow down a little bit. We're gonna get to the next, actually let's see how it shifts down. I'm gonna force it to shift down. All right, here we go. We have another kind of straight in front of us. I'm gonna give it about 50% throttle. Let's see if we can get it to shift in 5th gear. Yeah, I was struggling holding the camera, but that's kind of how it is. And like I said before, the shift points are higher because of the tune. You see that crisp shift in 4th? That's right on the money, right on the money. I'll try to accelerate kind of like normally how I normally drive. What a crisp downshift. It kind of reminds me how our ASIN shifted. It's definitely a little harsher than this was before. Sometimes, like once in a blue moon, it'll shift a bit more harsher. It definitely reminds me of my of the ASIN, because the ASIN kind of did that too. It would hold in gear a little longer, and then it would, when it shifts, you can feel the shift, like nice and firm shift. So we're about to start slowing down. Let's see how it's gonna slow down. I have the exhaust brake on, and then pretty much it. I hope you guys got a pretty good idea of what you're getting when you're purchasing the Revmax upgraded valve body. It's the crisper shifting, higher pressure. I think I would recommend getting a tune, because that gives you that completes the package, and running higher pressure puts more pressure on the clutch packs, which means less wear, even though it's a little harsher. It's honestly like after like probably 10-15 minutes of driving in town, you won't even notice that it's shifting harsher. So it's definitely, I wouldn't even call it a factor, but you're getting a longer transmission life, longer clutch pack lives, and then, I mean, if you're running more power, like I do run just a little bit more power, it definitely gives you that peace of mind that it's not gonna slip and your transmission is gonna live. I'm gonna wrap it up right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time.